All right, folks, we are back for 2025. It's me and Dusty. We're doing it again, y'all. It's Tuesday, a little bit early. Got something to do. We won't miss you, folks. But before we get busy, we got to kick it off like this. From the West Coast to the East Coast and everything between, folks. From Eve After Dark to concerts in the park. You live with your boy Lonzo, the Godfather of West Coast Hip Hop. We do this every Tuesday, right around this time. But we do it every week, that's for sure. In the meantime, folks, stick around. Got a hell of a show for you. Dusty's in there already on screen. Our guest will be here shortly. And it's going to be a hot one. It's going to be a hot one. What's up with you, Dusty?
Man, can't complain. How's 2025 treating you so far, man?
Man, you know what? I left 2025 on fire. Couldn't wait to get past the holidays. Because the holidays get in my way sometime. I'd be so excited. You know, people always stop. Right around the 20th or right after around Thanksgiving, people start slowing down and they start returning phone calls, start going on vacation. But I'm back in the South, and it's coming along, Doc. I cannot complain. I got a phone call today. I'm not even gonna speak on it. I'm not even gonna speak on it because I don't want no issues with the universe. But yeah, it could be one of them phone calls.
That's what's up. That's what's up, man. Hope everyone out there is having a good 2025 so far. Make sure you guys hit that like button before you get comfortable. We have a great show today. Great interview with D-Shot, a Bay Area legend from the clique, E-40's brother. Interesting story and a very, very, very interesting dude. So I'm really looking forward to this interview, man. A lot of independent talk is going to be probably talked about tonight. Lonzo, talk to us about the independent game, man. Back then, man. What? Tell us some of your experiences. You know, trying to weed your way through the independent game before the Sony deal and all that.
Being an independent dude was recommended by a lot of people in the game because a lot of folks said, you know, it was record companies had so much bad vibes on them. And then back then for hip hop, nobody wanted to give you a record deal. And before I go into that, I see I guess just popped in. Let's bring him on right quick so he can join this conversation.
D-Shot, legend, man. Legend.
He was just there. Hold on. I'm looking at there. Wait a minute. Hold on. There you go. D-Shot, what's up with your money? Can't hear you, baby. Can't hear you.
Make sure your mic is on.
Check your mic.
17 from a broken down hood with no dreams. D-Shot, man, looking forward to this conversation. He's getting his mic situated. Still can't hear you.
It ain't on our end. I see we got a full mic.
Yeah, not on mute. Try going all the way out and coming back in, D. We'll make this work. And you got him online. Yeah, we should be able to hear him on our end.
Right. I'm looking at this microphone. Yeah. It's wide open.
Nah, no mute. Get comfortable, guys. It's gonna be a dope interview.
Sometimes this can be one of the problems of going live, but you know, sometimes you have to deal with that to get the authenticity. The originality. No.
Vallejo legend and fellow Grambling night, my man Marlon says. Yeah, we got some Grambling stories. We're going to talk Grambling because I know E-40 and the clique and D-Shot, Be Legit, they were real big down there. We can't hear you, my man. Try going out and coming back in.
He just did. He just left out.
All right, cool.
Yeah. So, yeah, folks, the independent game, man, was recommended to me in the very beginning because nobody wanted to have a record deal. And I see I'm freezing up. Let me get out of here, man, and come back on the other side over here. I hate
gotta love technology, man.
You got
it works when it does and doesn't when it doesn't want to, right?
And they're gonna do a damn thing till it's ready to. Let me see if we can get over here on the other side of the mountain.
Yeah, Grambling represent today, man. Grambling University. One of my best friend's brothers went to Grambling, and that's where I heard my first mystical tape. That's where I heard anything like he would bring these tapes back and forth from Grambling. I'm just talking to Marlon right now about Grambling University, where he attended, class of 97. But that was right around the time where I was getting those tapes. And I know the whole clique, they had a big following down there. They got stories about going to Grambling, tapes out of the trunk of the car. I mean, this is my kind of talk. But it's just me right now. Looks like Lonzo is fixing his thing, and D-Shot is fixing his. They're probably talking behind the scenes. But yeah, you guys remember the song? Let's see. Oh man, there's so many, dude. But I know he contributed to Captain Save A H0E. Should I save her? I wanna be saved. Make sure you guys hit that like button if you haven't already. Get nice and comfortable. Definitely hit that subscribe button if this is your first time joining the channel and you like that real, authentic West Coast hip-hop-ish. I mean, that's what we're going to give you. We got some dope interviews in the archives. We just interviewed Black C from RBL Posse just a few weeks back. That was a real good interview. I really enjoyed that. I mean, just a few weeks before that, we had Razcast, West Coast legend. So we're bringing nothing but the legends on the show. And tonight we have Be Legit, man. We're going to talk about, you know, a few things like working with Roger Troutman on one of my favorite songs, Scandalous, by The Click. We're going to talk about the Boss Ballin' compilation because D-Shot was real big into the compilations back then, man. You know, compilations, now we know compilations as a regular thing, but back in the 90s and that around that time, compilations weren't a really big thing. He was one of the first dudes to really put his hands into the compilation game. Not only that, sick with it. I mean, they were making independent movies. I mean, there was so much going on out of that camp back then. And then one of my first hip hop crushes, Sugar T. Shout out Sugar T. I love me some Sugar T back in the day, man. She was my style, man. Y'all remember Sugar T, right? Y'all remember Sugar T? Sugar T with no beat, quick to smob, always down for the job. You got a good, that's a gang of shot. It's gonna be the Dusty Vision show for a minute, guys. Get nice and comfortable. Yeah, that game related album was dope. And ironically, D-Shot opens the song. He does. He opens the album on Wolf Tickets. First verse you hear is D-Shot. 17 from a broken that team, the hillside, just a small part of the city where popping ass gangsters popping like up there. There we go.
Man.
You hear me now?
Got you. We got you, baby. We got you.
Okay, so all right,
Man,
there it is.
I apologize, man. I pushed the wrong button and everybody went away.
I was just reciting one of my favorite D-Shot verses, man.
It's all good,
17 from a broken down hood with no dreams. The only thing I knew was to form a fat team. The hillside. It's a small part of the city. We're popping ass gangsters, popping like me. I rap. I'm telling you, man. I was looking forward to this. Welcome to the show, D-Shot.
What's up, man? It's good. I'm here.
Much love to you, Doc. Much love to you. How you feeling today, man?
Man, you know, I'm just over here chilling, man. You know what I mean? You know, doing what it do.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Out and about.
All right, we're gonna take a little time to get to know each other, bro. Hey, man, look here. My man Dusty told me that you deep into the independent game as well.
Ah, man, I've been in the independent game all my life, bro.
Have you ever had a major deal?
Yes, I have.
How'd you like that?
Still was independent, even with a major.
Were you really?
I was good. I had a distribution deal with Jive Records.
Okay. All right, that's a good thing, and you still kept your label.
I was on Jive Records for 8 years.
Oh shit. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
That's right. Yeah, man. So let's go back before the Click album, man. Let's take it all the way back to MVP, Most Valuable Players. Can you tell us about that time right before you guys formed the Click and how that whole, you know, time period was?
Well, you know, the whole thing started, man, you know, way back when I was a little knucklehead, you know, running around, you know, doing everything under the sun, you know, and my you know, my Uncle St. Charles, you know, he got on my head, man. He was like, bro, man, you gotta stop doing things that you're doing, you know what I mean? Because eventually you're gonna get caught up. And so, you know, I had to, you know, he was a reverend. And I asked him, I had to ask him this question though. I said, so since you're a reverend, ain't you supposed to help people like me? You made a record. You made a record in the '70s. You know, I seen the record. I touched the record. I listened to the record.
Okay.
Can you help us make one? You know what I mean? He was like, you know, I'm a preacher, bro, and I'm a reverend. And then I asked him, I said, boy, ain't y'all supposed to help people like me though? Ain't that y'all duty? And then he said, man, I'm gonna go home and talk to my wife. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And he said, I'm gonna come back in 2 weeks. You know what I mean?
Okay.
You know, first of all, he said, man, you know, it take a lot of money to make a record, you know, independently. It take a lot of money back then, and it did. And I was like, man, I just sold my '65 Mustang, man. I got a little bread, went there, put out a little stack on it, a few stacks on it. And he was like, I come back in 2 weeks, man. Let me talk to my wife and see if I can get her blessings to come on in and help people like me.
Okay.
So he came back in 2 weeks one day. I was sleeping in my house, man. He knocked on the door. He was like, let's go get the business license. And so that was the start of MVP. That was the start of us going into the studio. We went into, the Melody down there, downtown of Vallejo with Confunction them.
Okay.
Confunction and James Earl, these things, Spot the Hammer was getting down at. You know what I
Mm.
mean? And I went on in there and dropped the bread down up in there, man. And it was like, come on, man, we need studio time. And so that was the start of the MVP album, man. That was, we still was learning the game. We still was, we still was trying to figure it out, where we need to go, how the record should sound and stuff like that. It was a cool record. It was the start. It was a good start.
Yeah. And you know what? Master P always credits the Bay with showing him the blueprint for the independent game. And am I correct in saying that St. Charles, Uncle Charles, was a big inspiration on Master P also?
Yes, he was. He was a very, very big inspiration on Master P and a lot of other people as well. Even to AWOL Records too. You know what I mean? So with SIBO, JT the Bigger Figure, he was one of the cats that catapulted and learned how to put that distribution thing together and make it happen for us. We can get some upfront money. You know what I mean? And he was the main guy doing it, which is my uncle, St. Charles. And that's why he started with us. We laid down the blueprint. We did. And we laid down the program. Things was working. And then everybody else was trying to get with him to follow suit after that. You know what I mean? So I just look at it like this, man. I don't know where a lot of cats would have been at if it wasn't for a D-Shot. There was another company around back then too by the name of Funky Fat Graphics that helped a lot of people. To me, I called them a think tank. I called them, you go in there, man, they trying to make their money, but they in there like, okay, Shot, you need to get this t-shirt right here. You need to get these posters right here. We can go put you on the bus benches over here.
Mm-hmm.
And we can and I'll give you a good deal on it. And if the price is right, then let's get it done. So we did.
Funky, ain't that Jonathan? The Jonathan?
Yeah, that's Thomas.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, okay.
So yeah, we I introduced him to my part of the family, Funky Fat Graphics, and to St. Charles and everybody on that side too.
Okay.
So, like I said, man, D-Shot still was out there networking and making moves, but he was part of a lot of things. Marianne Collins, she was out of LA. I found her. She was one of the people that people don't understand. That was a video distributor back then.
Okay.
That's how I ended up on MTV, because I found her, and nobody really understood what a video distributor was.
Okay.
A video distributor is somebody who gets you in clothing stores,
right.
get you on BET, the big stations.
Right.
Like right now, I'm dealing with a video distributor right now. I'm on BET right now. I'm on BET Jams right now. That's why you see a lot of cats ain't on there, because they don't know nothing about that. You see what I'm saying?
Gotcha.
These cats got to start learning how to pay attention to the fine details of how you wiggle out here. You know what I mean? It ain't about just going to give your video to YouTube and that's it. You think you're doing something, but you're really not. It's still a whole bunch of room that you haven't covered. You feel what I'm saying?
Totally.
So I don't know if I got off subject about the MTV.
No, you're good.
Yeah, I'm loving this talk. Hey, back then, in the beginning, a lot of people were claiming to be, quote, independent, but they had major deal situations and distribution and things like that. Y'all were different, 100% independent, in the beginning. Tell us about how you did it back then and explain the one-stops, Music People, City Hall Records. Can you break that down a little bit?
We worked a lot with them, but they didn't control our destination. We actually was getting a lot of, when we first came through the door, it was no's. We actually started off, my mother, my aunt, man, they were putting, at that time, I was in the school of hard knocks at that time. But my uncle, they kept, everything kept going when I was doing my little little time. You know what I mean? And we were putting it on consignment in the stores, consignment. And once we started putting it on consignment, people started buying the records, man. And once that started getting out there, it was word of mouth. It started getting out there. We was handing out posters, flash. My brother was doing it. I was doing it. Handing out snippet tapes, you know, with half of a song on it, stuff like that. So we was giving them out for free. And it just started catching on. Then the distributor one day called St. Charles out the blue, was like, can you come up here? Can we have a meeting? And now you want to talk.
Right.
Because it's moving now. And that probably was one of the best moves that both of them could have ever made, was to get us through the door, because they made millions fucking with us. You dig what I'm saying?
Yeah, facts.
That's real talk.
Now, you know what? He just dropped some names of distributors that, see, I was in the game before I was in the game. My last job was at a record distributor, selling records to the stores some of the stores you just mentioned. City Hall was one of my clients, as well as music people. I was a salesman for a company called Record Shack. So I had my job was to call them up before I made my first record. They were my clients, so I totally understand what you're talking about. And later on, that was how I got my label up and running, Crew Cut Records, by calling them people up, and they remember me. So it's just amazing how things make full circle. Go right ahead.
Yeah, it's amazing, but a lot of people don't understand that when we got in the distribution thing, man. This is one thing. You remember One Sheets, right?
Yeah.
See, one part of the game we had was we made sure that we shipped out, man. Our mailing list. We messed around and found a mailing list with every store in the country, and we tried to hit every last one of them.
That was worth the weight in gold, baby.
Man, first it was in a book. All the stores in the book. You had to type it all out and get your mailing list together.
Yep.
So I paid the female how to go in there and take all them addresses, type every last address. You know what I mean? Put that bad boy on database. Then it was plug and play. By the time Boss Baller came out, boy, it was only cracking. You know what I mean?
Okay.
We mailed all that stuff out. I hired all my little cousins and everybody to mail them all out. Piggy Bowl stamps, and man, we was making it happen. And a lot of people don't know. We worked hard, man. They don't even understand it.
Being independent was really work. When you shipped out your records to a distributor, you had to go to UPS, man. You load your truck up, a van, whatever you got, car, whatever the case may be. Stand in line with all them boxes, put them on that conveyor belt, have all your stuff together. Back then, they would let you send them out. Send them COD sometimes. So when the touchdown on the other end, they had to send you a check.
Yep. Then you had to follow it up. But what we did was what you ain't know. What we did was we redirected everything back to City Hall. By the time it all came back to City Hall, by the time the record release was ready to go, we already had our orders in. Whether it was 80,000, 100,000 units, because everything that we mailed out, we redirected it back to City Hall.
Okay.
We did that. City Hall didn't do that for us. We did that.
Okay.
And by that time happens, like it's 100,000 units pre-ordered already, ready to go.
City Hall still in business?
They still in business, bro.
Wow.
To this day.
Wow. Who did you guys pressing back in the day?
There was a few people did our pressing, man. That's a good question, because my memory is like, that was 25 years ago, bro.
Man, Friday night.
35 almost.
What was it called? Was it Rainbow Records?
Okay. Yeah, wait. Let me say this. Friday night, I'm at JDC Records down here in LA. Egyptian Lover does a holiday event every year. Steve Sheldon, the guy who owned Rainbow, was down there. We got to chop it up last Friday night, talking about most of what you're talking about right now. We talked about on Friday night, Doc. We both said we missed the record in the record game. This music game is different from without the records, Doc. It ain't the same.
It ain't the same.
Ain't
It's
the
not.
same.
It's not. It doesn't work that way. I had to, even with my new record, Bags at It, right now, I had to go out there and re-educate myself on how this digital thing works.
Right.
And I'm still educating myself, man. I'm still working on it, but I got a grip on it though. It changes. It changes. The model changes on a regular basis.
Right.
It's something that you got to stay on top of. You know
You
what I
got
mean?
to re-educate yourself every other 6 months or so, because something new is coming out to get your attention. That's a damn show. And
That's
I always say you got to keep your thing pointed in the right direction.
That's real talk.
Amen.
Hey,
You gotta be
AD.
sniffing like an elephant, man. You sniffing like an elephant. No way.
Hey, AD, how did things change for the clique and your group, you know, your crew and everything with the success of Captain Save A H0E, you know, when it charted on the Billboard Hot 100? And didn't you have a big helping in creating that hook?
Yeah. It was a lot of things going on. I think 40 had the mailman out, and that was pushing, that was moving real mean. And I had to call me on the under, and Be Legit had what was that? I think it was I'm in your city. You know what I mean? So, but what I'm saying is though, I think it was before Captain came out on that one, but it was all around the same time, whatever it was. But Captain Save A H0E, my influence of that record was I was the dude that did the hook. I made that hook up. Okay, you know what I'm saying?
Is I should I save?
Yeah, I made that hook up. So yeah, that's my part of the influence of that song.
Okay. That'll work.
Yeah,
Before we go any
when that
further,
song hit.
It was a hit. It's still a hit.
Before we go any further, I got to give my boy Kurt Walker a big shout out for hooking this interview up. That's my guy. He's out always looking for new folks for us to interview. Much love to you, Kurt, for looking out for the
Much
team.
love, Kurt. Appreciate that.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, thank you, Kurt. Thank you. Hey, can you tell us about the game-related album and recording that, and specifically a couple of my favorite joints, Wolf Tickets, you know, Hurricane blew up off of that album. Can you talk to us about that album?
Down Dirty came out before Game Related. Down and Dirty is still a good seller. It still sells mean. It's moving real mean right now. But you know, that was a good record. We was on at that point. We were being distributed through Jive Records. You know what I mean? And we had a good deal with Jive Records with that, and they also helped promote our records at that time too. So, but yeah, that was a good record, man. That was a good record.
Is Jive still around too?
No, I don't think they are.
It's called Sony now. Sony.
There you go.
Okay.
They bought it. They bought it. They bought it out. They put it under the Sony umbrella.
Got you. Okay.
And
that was
and on
Weiss.
Scandalous.
That was Barry Weiss.
Yeah, Barry Wise. Jeff.
Now you know, if I ain't mistaken, that's the same Barry Weiss that used to be on Storage Wars, right?
Nah, man.
You sure?
No, I don't think so. No.
I'm gonna do a little checking because he said he was in the record industry for years. He didn't say he owned Jive Records though. Barry Weiss.
No, he never owned it.
Oh, yeah,
He was the president.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Man, got you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
He was
Go ahead.
He was the top CEO. He was the top CEO at that time.
Okay.
Going back to the game related album, another great song, and that was Scandalous. That was actually the one and only Roger Troutman actually came in the studio and sang that with you, right? Can you tell us about that song?
We actually went to his studio and did that song. I remember when we was in the studio, man. We in there. He already had the beat made and everything, right? And
he did that beat. Damn.
Because he got on Be Legit head. Be Legit lit one up. He was like, "Who's smoking in my studio?" And he put the weed up like this and just man, if you don't put that out, this session is over. You know what I mean? But he was, you know, he just old school. He was cool with it, man, and you know, he was joking around with us, man, and you know, he was getting on Sugar T head like, "Hey, you need to sing this, heifer. You need to sing this beat. You need to sing this part. Sing it like you mean it." You know what I mean?
Right.
So yeah, man, we had a good time with him. You know what I mean? And he talked to me about some personal things. He took a walk with me around the corner. We took a break. You know what I mean? He talked to me about some personal things before he got up out of here. You know what I mean?
Right.
But yeah, he was cool. He's a cool dude.
He was. We toured together back in the day. Did a few shows together, man. He was real cool, brother. I tell the story sometimes, man. The hardest act to go behind was Roger and Zapp. We messed around there in Louisiana, man. I don't know what happened. We got crossed up, and we had to go behind them. Kumo D wouldn't do it. He was like, "No, I ain't going behind them." We got stuck. Behind them, man. They lit the stage up so goddamn. I said, "Why you do that, man? You know damn well we can't come behind all that." I'm sorry, bro. I just do I'm just doing what I know how to do. Okay, man, no problem. Stage on fire. We can't hardly walk because he didn't live it up so damn bad. But he was a good dude though. Me and Lester still tight to this day.
He didn't get his props like he should have, man.
No, he did not. He did not.
I don't know why how they let that slip through like that, but they he was part of a very inspiration of music right to this day.
Yeah.
All he does is doing that vocoder type thing. That was him.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He opened up a whole new era of sound when he was doing all that. Like these cats still doing it. They sing it through, but it's through what do you call that? What do you call that thing?
Auto-tune.
Singing through auto-tunes. Yeah, I'm just doing an interview. It's good. Yeah, you know what I mean? So he gave all them youngsters a little room to breathe for a minute.
Right.
That's so true, man.
Yeah.
Damn.
He gave them a different direction to go in when they couldn't do it right the first time. They didn't have the natural gift. He gave them something mechanically to fall back on. Can't get mad about that. Including us, we use the vocoder quite a bit, man. He used the talk box. We use the vocoder. Same thing.
Right. Same thing. So it is what it is. You know what I mean? But I still listen to his music to this day. It's still slamming. It'll probably never leave planet Earth. It'll probably be on spaceships. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, we're gonna bounce around a little bit, D-Shot, but going back to the boss balling compilation, compilations are a thing now. You know what I'm saying? Everybody has compilations, but back then that was a new concept, I should say. Mac Maw, Conscious Daughters, Drew Down, Sibo, so many legends on this boss balling compilation. Can you talk to us about the making of that project and how that went down?
The making of that was me wanting to be a movie guy, wanting to make movies. You dig what I'm saying? So I said, you know what? If I can't make a movie right now because I don't have all the experience and everything I need to know to make it, so I might as well go ahead and make me a movie with a soundtrack without the movie. That was the whole key, was to have something that you can sit back in your house and play dominoes to and listen to it all the way through without having to change the CD. You know what I mean? So that was my whole thing, was to get in sync with the human mind, to sit back and relax while you barbecuing outside during the summer. You know what I mean? And so I made it. To me, the sequence was my best gift. The sequence, every song coming back to back, and picking the right songs that work with your psyche, that takes you on an emotional ride like you would be on the soundtrack. You know what I mean? And so I think that was my gift to making compilations, was to make it sound like one record all the way through.
Interesting.
Yeah. Hey, you and your whole crew were real tight with Tupac. R.I.P. to the legend. Any good Pac stories? What was Pac like being around?
He was, he was a little gangster too. I remember one time I pulled a strap out. I was like, man, you ain't got to worry about nothing, bro. You know what I mean? I was just like letting him know. I was like, you with me, you ain't got to worry about nothing. That nigga pulled out two of them. He just, you ain't got to worry about nothing. He wasn't scared. He wasn't scared. He'd go into any hood. It didn't matter. He wasn't scared to go in no hood. It didn't matter, bro. He was just, he was down to earth dude, man. And, he was down to earth, a fun dude. And I always tell my brother too. I said, if we was in Vegas that day, because wasn't none of us out there.
Okay.
If we was in Vegas that day, he probably would have been with us. To be honest with you, I don't think that would have occurred. You know what I'm saying? Because we probably been on the roulette table over there having fun, having some drinks and shit. You know what I mean? So yeah, but Pac was, he was even making records, man. That boy go in the studio in 10 minutes. He got a whole song done in 10 minutes. That's how much he had to talk about. He was already cocked and loaded, man. His whole life, all the stories in his life, everything he ever been through, all the things he ever seen, through the Black Panthers, through his mother, his father, everything. He was loading up with information the whole time since he was a kid. And you could tell he was just waiting to unleash it. And he did. He did a great job while he was here on planet Earth. I give him props.
Still one of my favorites, Doc, right to this day.
Right.
Still one of my favorites.
Yeah. Can you tell us about the East Coast, West Coast? And I say this in quotes because it was a media created East Coast, West Coast war. But can you talk to us about that from your point of view? What did you see during that time?
I think, like I said, Pop was angry about how he was in New York, and then them cats robbed him and shot him up. He was angry about that. You know what I mean? And he felt like some cats, had set him up. He felt like they didn't have his back out there. You know what I mean? And so he put it on the record, and then him and Biggie was going back and forth. You know what I mean? So it wasn't everybody with East Coast, West Coast problem. It was him and Biggie problem. You know what I mean? And whoever Biggie crew was, and whoever, I never really asked him about all that. I just knew about it a little bit. But yeah, that was something that shouldn't have occurred, man. Somebody should have gotten there and stopped all that shit before it even got started. You know what I mean?
Yeah. What were your honest thoughts about him joining Death Row?
Death Row was moving mean. And that was probably one of his best and worst moves. Both. But I just wish Suge would have went another direction. He probably would have been if he would have left that gangbang alone.
Very Gordy.
He would have been the richest black man in the music industry, and he would have had all the power. I just, like I said, we were young. He was young too. You know what I mean? He was young, and he probably feel like he probably could have played it differently. You know what I'm saying? But they were powerful together, man. It was an all-star team.
Yeah.
It was an all-star team put together. That's all it was to it. Yeah, Snoop, Dr. Dre, Tupac, the Dog Pound, Daz. Yeah, Corrupt. You know what I mean? Nate Dogg. Man, them dudes had a real serious team.
Yeah, they did, Doc. That was a hard squad to beat.
I just wish they would have played it differently, man. That's all.
Yeah.
Hey,
man.
Much love to Suge. Much love to all the Dog Pound and all my dogs. You know what I mean? And R.I.P. to Tupac. You know what I mean? That was my guy. They always my guy. R.I.P. to Nate Dogg. That was my guy. You know what I mean? And so, hopefully I see them all in heaven one day. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Did you ever feel uneasy performing out of town on the East Coast during that whole situation?
We never really did much in the New York area. No, even to this day, I don't even think 40 went out to New York and never performed. You know what I mean?
Damn,
so yeah,
wow.
I mean we
they hated on him a lot.
Huh?
They hated on him a lot. You guys a lot. AZ, I remember in that magazine, AZ said something. What's that basketball player, T. Wallace? Like they were all trying to come at him for it.
Right. They just didn't understand how real motherfuckers was on this other coast.
You
know what I mean? And how innovative our music was. But they know now though, because they all But I ain't knocking New York. They do what they do. We do. And we keep it moving.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
Tell us about your trips to Grambling. We have a couple Grambling alumni in the building, man. And I know you guys have mentioned Grambling in past songs and things like that, Grambling University. Can you talk to us about the connection between that? And was there some selling of the tapes and all that down there?
Grambling was another, how could I put this? Grambling was another school. 40 and B went there for 2 years, two and a half years. They went there. I went to go visit them, but what it did was they were out there promoting the music while they were in college, and so all these people from different walks of life, different parts of the planet, got whiff of the music that we was doing. So we would hand out tape CDs at Grambling just like we would do it in the Bay Area. You know what I mean? And all of a sudden these tapes start getting out to all these people in the college. They would go home and play them for all their friends and family, and their friends and family would start playing it. And all of a sudden the word is out that we are getting down and they like our music. And that's how that was part of the promotion and distribution of our product being introduced to different cities and states. You know what I mean? That helped. Even my school of hard knocks, when I went to YA, these cats was from every part of California. I met all the bosses. So wherever we went to go do music at, I had a safe place to go. They were like, man, Shot, I got you wherever you at. I'll tell my homies, I'm gonna call a shot and make sure everything good wherever y'all go. So it all worked out, man, for the good, man. You know, it's all about staying prayed up. You know what I mean? Recognizing God. You know what I mean? I ain't trying to be no saint, but I'm just saying, though, it's not easy being a rapper at a young age. It's not easy avoiding all of the trouble out there on the streets. You know what I mean? But we were able to do it, and you know, we just still keep our nose clean. You feel me?
Right.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. Hey, so all of y'all have, you know, dabbled in the independent film game also. What are the chances? I mean, can you tell us about that side of the business as well, the indie film part?
Yeah, I mean, that's something that it's the same principle. Same principle as the music industry, just a different, slightly different approach. Making films. The reason why I haven't made a lot of films is because it's a lot of hard work, especially when you got to keep the costs down. You have to keep the costs down.
Thank you, Marlon.
Yeah, but you want to make a good quality film. And so I would wear a lot of hats. I'll be in there doing sound design. You know what I mean? I'll be in there making corrections. If something distorted somewhere, I'll be taking distortion out of the film. But I'm not. It's fun while putting it together, and then reap the benefits afterwards. It's gratifying to me, man. You know what I mean? And I'll be making another film here in the next month or two.
Oh yeah, what's that about? Tell us about that.
So I'm debating on which one I want to do first. I probably want to do Don't Get Caught Part 2, Cannabis Rich, or I'm going to go ahead and do our story about how make a series about how we came up.
Please do that second, my man. I'm voting for the second one. I'm voting for the second one. All right. I've been waiting for a biopic on you guys, homie. Man, everything, dog. Please do that one. I'm just throwing it out there, dog.
I'm going in. I'll be burnt out for the next 2 years after I finish that one, but might as well get it done.
Man. And all you guys still look alike, dog. So you guys can still play your own characters. So you look just like you did back in 1998, man.
Man, I appreciate that, man. Really.
Hey, D-Shot, we're gonna wrap this interview up, Doc. We're about to lose you on the light over there. You're getting a little dark on the end over there, Doc. But it's been a great interview, man. I really appreciate you taking time out to kicking with us, Doc.
Thank you.
It's been an honor to sit here and talk about these things with y'all. Make sure everybody go out there and pick up that album, Bags at It. It's called Bags at It.
Bags at It.
That's my new album. You should better get it anywhere. So,
you did a song with Cocaine recently, didn't you? That shit was fire.
It's on there.
That's the one, homie. That hook is crazy.
Did you check out the whole album yet? You should check it out.
No, I just that song, but I'm gonna go check out the whole album now. Tell everybody again what it's called.
It's called Bags at It.
Bags at It.
Yep. Much love. D-Shot in the house, folks. You alive?
Man, thank you, man.
And D-Shot straight out of the Bay, baby. Much love, Doc. We'll do it again.
Thank you, homie. Appreciate you, man.
For sure.
All right. Peace.
Howdy. Peace.
Ooh, knocked another one out the park, Lonzo.
Hey,
I love that independent talk, man. I'm telling you, dude. I just find you guys amazed. It's amazing to me that you guys did that back then, man.
We didn't have any other choices, Doc. I mean, you know, being in the record business back in the day, man, it was a constant learning experience. It was a constant surprise because you don't know what to expect. You know, what's plating? Labels. I thought they, you know, how you gonna print them? You know, and if you made a mistake on your label, they didn't work. They didn't correct the spelling on your shit. Okay, wasn't no spell check. If you misspelled something on your label and didn't catch it in time, guess what? Your shit went out misspelled. Okay?
Damn.
Or you got to get them printed all over again. We didn't have that kind of money, man. So, you know, just for me, running around as an independent artist, running from the studio to the Macola. Right next to Macola was the label place. Down the street was the place that did the mastering, and by my house was the place that did the plating. So it was a great circle for me because I go to the studio, I go to Macola, do my thing next door at the label spot, go down the street to see Richard. Richard would cut my lacquers for me. And on the way home, I drop them off at Greg's Plating Company right there on Redondo Beach and Broadway, Doc. And in 3 days, they'll ship them over to when they get through with them, they ship them back to Don McMillan over at Macola. And in 2 days, you got test presses. Simple as that. And speaking of Don McMillan, I just found out he just passed, man. He just passed a few weeks ago. I wasn't privy to the time of his death, but you know, we talked about him just the other day at this event I just mentioned earlier, and he was a necessary evil of the West Coast record industry. You know, in the beginning, I knocked on every door, and, from Motown to everybody that had an office on the West Coast. I knocked on their doors, man. Nobody was checking for hip hop because disco had just died, and they felt hip hop was going to have the same in and out death. And the only person that remotely gave us the opportunity was Don McMillan, and he did it on an accident. He wasn't trying to be a pioneer in anything. He just happened to be the foreman of a pressing plant named Cadet Records on Slauson. Cadet went out of business, or they sold some of their pressing plants. He figured if he moved to Hollywood, he can press records for other people, and that was his intention. It wasn't until he met Duffy Hooks Jr. and Duffy knew all the distributors. Duffy was a record hustler. We call him a record hustler. Duffy didn't get a label till later on, but he knew how to sell records. And records, because the record industry was such a lucrative game, if you knew somebody that had a bunch of records that was hot, all you had to do was put 50 cents on top of it and you got paid. Simple as that. That's as simple as that. If you had action at anything that was hot, especially if you could get it from the either if you had a source that was attached to the manufacturer or the label promotion department, because a lot of times people would sell promos. You had records with the little hole in the corner of them. You ain't supposed to sell those, but they did anyway because the record was the same shit. Yeah. Who cares about the jacket? that hole in the jacket, and that little slit in the side of the CD was for the distributors. So they'll know when those records come back in, they were given away. You can't give anybody credit for them as a sale. The records are 100% returnable, so you can't return those records. But the smart and the slick, especially when it came to CDs, they just take the CDs and put them in new CD jackets.
There you go.
The game was cold-blooded, dude. It was cold-blooded. But yeah, a lot of the resistance from hip hop came from the early death of disco. And Macola kind of came in at the right time, man. It was all perfect timing, dude. It was all perfect timing. Hip hop had just started to get some real legs in the mid 80s, and Macola popped up right around that time, and had an open door policy. And we all were dance promoters in Egypt and Dream Team and me and whoever else had any kind of money. We was making records because we saw them being made out of New York. Although we didn't realize that all the New York acts had their own, they were all signed to labels. Now that's one thing that people forget, that separates New York from West Coast. Most of the West Coast artists, well, all of the New York artists, to my knowledge, were signed to a label. None of us were signed to a label in the beginning. All of us started off as independents. All of us. Ruthless. Maybe not Death Row. Maybe not Death Row. Well, I guess they were independent for a minute, but they ended up getting a deal with Sony or whoever their distributor was, and they picked them up. Ruthless started off, I think Ruthless, J. King Records, Crew Cut, Unknown, Egypt. We all were independents, LA Dream Team, and people picked us up as like free agents. We had to go. We didn't have a farm team. Our labels were our farm teams, where we had to practice and get our shit together to be able to go to the next level of get a record deal. And nobody was checking for us. Nobody was checking for us. And we were good. But one thing that saved us all and made us all seem bigger than what we really were, guess what it was?
What's that?
K-Day. See, we had a circle, man. We had a perfect storm. We had a perfect storm. And like I was telling my man D-Shot a second ago, my last job, punching a clock in 1979, was working for a record distributor. All my accounts were one-stops and independent distributors and stores. So I had that whole list. I had the whole list from the West Coast, and I had action at the East Coast list. So when I started calling people, when I started making Xerox and all my other records, they reckoned, we had a relationship. They wouldn't know me in a lineup, but they knew my voice. They wouldn't know me in a lineup, dude, because they never seen me, but they knew my voice. And I would send them, hey, go to the same thing. The same thing we did at Record Shack, same thing I would do. I would send records out to different stores, and they, hey, man, send me back 50, send me 100, and here we are, we back at UPS. And then I hooked up with Cletus Anderson from VIP, and Cletus was already trading and selling records, so that made my job that much easier. So Cletus would buy 1,000, 1,500, 2,000. Steve Yano would buy 500, 600. Steve Yano would buy every number I had in multiples of 100. On a Friday, I would have to go to Bill Smith Custom Records and literally make an order just for Steve Yano for him to sell to Swap Meet. That's how powerful his Swap Meet situation was. And then he started making his own records. But up until then, these connections I had, man, and that's why everybody came to me. Nobody knew Steve was around till I introduced everybody to Steve. Dre didn't know Steve before I did. I met Steve out selling bootlegs. I met at a record store down on Pico, because Pico was like record row. Everybody on Pico had a one-stop or distributor, because that was the game back in the day. And I walked into the distributor and I saw this Asian dude in there, and my boy, the guy I came to see, was talking to him. So I wait till you get busy, no problem. He said, no, come on in. I don't know this dude, man. He said, and Steve said, come on in, man. And I gave the guy the record, and Steve happened to grab one. I've been looking for you, man. I almost took off running. I thought he was in the feds or something, dude. I almost took off running. No, man. He told me to start talking. I run the Swap Meet, blah blah blah. And my guy verified what he was saying, and then we became thick as thieves after that, dude. And when he realized I didn't live far from the Swap Meet, oh man, he was at my house on a regular basis. He was his wife.
So I knew the answer, obviously, but I typed into my AI overview thing here. Who was the first West Coast rapper signed to a major label? AI says the first West Coast hip hop group to be signed to a major label was World Class Wrecking Crew. There it is, dude. I mean, if your history doesn't go any deeper than that, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? AI. I mean, the thing that we use your name is forever going to be stuck in the algorithm. If someone wants to type in who was the first West Coast rapper or group to be signed to a major label.
You know, and here after we did Crew Cut for like 2 or 3 years, and they came looking for us. And my manager at the time, Swamp Dogg, did not want me to go to the major. Oh my God, man, please don't go, please don't go. But here's the problem. I'm already, as they say, nigga rich. I'm on my second house. I got my first Beamer. Nightclubs have been very good to me. And the record business was even better. So I got record money and nightclub money. I'm not tripping. I'm not tripping. My partners are. Everybody's still living at home. So and we was gigging, but we wasn't making a whole lot of money. We might be getting $2,000 a show, $1,500 a show, and it was okay, but it wasn't enough to sustain us, you know, individually. For me, it was hustle money. For them, it was living expenses. Different, and that's something that most people don't understand. We talk about the history of West Coast hip hop and my role in the game. I hate to tell y'all, contrary to what y'all may see, which is just for men, I'm damn near 70 years old, man. I'm 67, I'll be 68 years old this year. Damn. Everybody else, I'll be 68 in June, dude.
Yeah, you don't look it, man.
Thank you, Doc. Everybody else is just hitting 60, just making 55. Yellow is probably the closest one to me. Yellow might be 60, 63, 64, something like that. He might be 65. Okay, but what I'm saying is, I was already established in the game of life. I already had a kid. I already had a house. I owned my 40th car, 35 or 40th car. Man, I've owned over 75 cars in my life. No bullshit.
Yeah.
I've bought and sold over 75 cars. At one time, I was flipping so many cars just because I could. The DMV said, Mr. Williams, you can't sell no more cars because if you do, you got to get a dealer's license. So I got a whole different, and again, we're talking about me growing up in the 70s and being a grown man. I'm a grown man in the 80s, man. I'm a grown man by what? 79, I'm in 75, I'm out of high school. 78, I'm 21 years old. 78, I'm 21. 79, I'm 22. I opened Eve After Dark. Okay, so if I'm 22 at Eve After Dark, that means Cube is in 5th grade. Dre is junior high school. So all these factors are some things that people don't understand, the different, I guess, phases in life that different people are in as this thing is happening collectively. So a brother that's been wearing hard sole shoes and suits and slacks and driving BMWs, got a house, everybody's admiring him. All of a sudden, he's gonna take off his suit and put on a Raider hat and some tennis shoes. Ain't gonna do that. Ain't gonna do that. Everybody, the reason why my success at Eve After Dark and Doodles and other places was because I was not attached to the games. Oh, he cool, man. That's the DJ. That's the brother on the E, man. Oh, that's the DJ. Let him in there. I'm DJing in Compton. Watts don't make no difference. That's the brother that's the DJ, man. DJ had records and turntables, gave you a pass everywhere. Yeah. If he wasn't with that gang thing. And that's what made me so successful in the early days, because everybody felt comfortable coming to the club because there's homeboy that did our homecoming dance. The DJ, that's the one that did our noon dance. That's how we promoted the Eve even back then. We doing noon dances and proms after prom. So everybody felt comfortable with us. And because although we were in blood territory, technically, it wasn't that. It wasn't that heavy of a, at that time, it wasn't that heavy in the gang situation. And because I was running things and everybody knew I was kind of a neutral dude, they treated the club accordingly and me as well. So I had to say this, man, because when sometimes people forget that Compton was not always gangster. LA was not always gangster. Music was not always not gangster. And only a handful of groups that came in before then were able to hold on to that situation, because gangster music came in like smoke, choked everything out.
Yeah.
All the party music was gone. All the New Jack was gone. Think about that, man. New Jack was the hottest shit ever came out. Come on, man. Come
Ralph
on.
Tresvant, all that stuff.
All that shit was blazing, man.
This girl is poison. Then nothing.
All of a sudden, nothing, dude. You went from house party to Boys in the Hood overnight.
Yeah.
You went from house party, Gumby haircuts, brothers dancing, and sweating and shit, to everybody mugging, mean mugging. Everybody talking about killing each other. Come on, man. The transition of the streets was this traumatic, man. It was like, huh? What happened? Everybody started shooting each other. Everybody started killing. Everybody started looking all crazy. You couldn't go no place. It was just, and then my newest book is called Where the Party At. I talk about this in my newest book. I'm writing it right now, man. Where the Party At, and how at one time LA had over 140 some clubs around the city, man, over a period of time that you can go to. You can't go nowhere, and a lot of those clubs were shut down behind street activity. I'm not gonna say gang, it's street activity. Street activity. Okay, folks see somebody that they know. Now here, check this out. Can't nobody party in the hood, because everybody know who's gonna be in the hood partying. So everybody from the hood go outside the hood on both sides to try and get away from the hood, and then the hood is there waiting on you. The same cats you trying to get away from in your neighborhood, or your ops, as they say, that you tried to get away from in the hood, they all got cars. They all know how to drive the freeway. Here they are at the Century Club. Here they are at Osco's. Here they are at some other club, and the beef is still on.
Yeah.
And that was one of the problems we had. Nobody ever drew a line in the no-fly zone. Hey, man, we can't do this up here. We can't do this at this school. We can't do this at this club, because we fight tonight at this club, tomorrow it's going to be a laundromat.
Yeah.
And that's what happens. That's what happens. If you fight at Cerrito skating ring, if we started hitting that Cerrito, I'm in a documentary called United Skates, and they show you how skating rings got shut down. Most of the time, it was never the people that came to skate. It was never them. It was always the guys in the parking lot. Because skaters come from all over, because the places to go skate at a good rink are far and few between. And skaters come from all over. So when skaters show up, sometimes skaters may take off their chucks and put on a pair of skates, and they come from another hood. All of a sudden you walk outside and they go, your ops.
Yeah. You
got to either get to your car or run, or whatever happens. Now we got a problem. Now here's your next problem. You got two major problems. You got one, your incident report that's filed with the police department, which also goes to your insurance company. And now, if you're leasing that building and you got all these other big buildings around, like a Macy's or any other department store that's paying some real money, and you got this 100,000 square foot space that's only being utilized on so many nights a week, and you causing problems, we'll make this a Home Depot.
Yep.
We'll make it a Home Depot. We'll make it a Walmart. We ain't fucking with y'all. And the primary customer is black folks. Dude, this club right now in Lakewood, the Lakewood Hop, has been closed for decades. They won't open that sucker back up.
Nope.
And here's the crazy part. It's right across the street from the police department.
Literally, and it was still way down there.
Literally across the street from the police department. And that became the challenge, how much work you get put in before the cops can cross the street. Come on, man. You can't win with that mentality, dude. You'll never have nothing in the hood. You'll never have anything in the hood with that kind of mentality. How much work you get put in before the police can cross the street?
30
Anyway,
seconds, man.
that,
Drop a few
that's
bodies.
yeah. You can drop a couple of bodies, hop in your car, hit the 405. You go to because most people think you're going to the 91. Go to the 405. They think you're going to the 405. Go to the 405, around to the 605, and come back around to the 91. Anyway,
Yeah.
I don't know how I know that, but I do.
Man,
Anyway,
dude.
that
That
is
hour flew by, man. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. Make sure you guys hit that like button before you head out. And once again, if this is your first time joining the channel and you like what you hear, hit that subscribe button. Any last words, Lonzo, or you want to hit them with that outro?
Man, for those who never heard of me, I'm the first one to put Dr. Dre in the surgery. Stuck Ice Cube in the freezer until they got cold on the eve after dark, 50-yard line to Super Bowl. In the movie Straight Outta Compton, they played me like a hater of rap. Don't believe that Hollywood bull, because it was all cap. My history goes deeper than you will ever know. Just remember that N.W.A. stands for Not Without Alonzo. Peace, y'all.